What's up, guys? We are back with another Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts review, taking a look at, I don't know, probably one of my most anticipated SH Figuarts releases for the entire year. And I say that knowing that I took my sweet time actually getting a hold of this figure. So we're taking a look at the Captain Ginyu figure. Finally, we are starting to get the Ginyu Force, and I know this guy's been out for a little bit as of this review, and we're getting closer and closer to starting to see releases for the other members, but I couldn't not take a look at this guy and just have a good session to play around with him. So we've got him here in our standard yet oversized kind of package for the DBZ line. So you've got the figure there in the window with a nice shot of Ginyu on the front in the bottom corner, and then the side has got a wraparound shot and then some more product shots. The other side is that kind of clear bubble, and then the back, as usual, has a bunch of product shots that showcase posability as well as all the stuff he comes with. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, easily one of my most anticipated Dragon Ball Figuarts in a very, very long time, Captain Ginyu himself. And this guy is, of course, exciting because, well, we're getting something that's a little bit different, not just another Saiyan, but this guy is also the beginnings of the fact that we are getting the entire Ginyu Force. So it's just exciting for a number of reasons, and I think we've got a really solid figure here. In a general sense, I am just happy with everything that's going on with this guy. There are a few little things here and there that are maybe, I don't know, irksome, but for the most part, this is a very solid Figuarts release. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He is pretty well articulated, and specifically in the way that he's trying to mimic the movements from the show. So, you know, one of the big things for Ginyu Force is to be able to do their poses when they strike a pose, and this guy very much can pull off pretty much all of them, really. So as far as his head goes, it is, of course, independently articulated from the neck. So you've got the head that sits on top of that kind of new style joint, and he can look up really far in conjunction with the neck. You do have to watch kind of your gapping down here, but then he can look down really far as well. Down looks really, really good. And then you've got full tilt side to side. I mean, it goes all over the place. You do have full rotation. You do have to kind of watch, though, because the neck is kind of it's not just a tube, really. It is very defined. So his head does kind of hit the neck as you move it, but it's not like it's going to get in the way. These shoulder pads move. And if I have one issue, it's that these, at least this one in particular, does seem kind of loose on mine. Like, it's not falling out, but I do have to watch it when I'm posing him. So that moves, and then the arm goes out. It, of course, has a butterfly joint, so the arm actually kind of pulls out of the socket, really, which is pretty normal. And then you do have full rotation, but the pad is, of course, going to get in the way a little bit, and you have to kind of just watch it as you move it. You've got your bicep swivel. We've got double jointed elbows, of course, and then you've got ball pegs at the wrist here, so you can swivel and hinge back and forth, side to side, all that good stuff. So really great range of motion. The only thing I have to watch out for is that pad. The torso cut goes backwards a little bit, goes forwards super, super far because, of course, one of his poses is kind of looking through his legs, kind of bent fully over, so that helps accomplish that. You've got good tilt side to side, and then, of course, that does aid in rotation. You've got your waist twist as well down there. He does have articulated waist pads. These, again, do come out, so you just have to kind of watch them like that. There you go. So it's just a peg that fits into what is kind of the belt with a little hinge on it. So you can kind of pop this guy right back in, and it'll stay, but you do have to kind of watch it when you're posing him. It's just sort of what it is. The legs go out pretty much all the way, and then, of course, you can kick forward all the way. That's something that might pop those out as well. They kick backwards super far. You do have your thigh cut. We've got double jointed knees, and then you've got rotation, you've got rocker, you've got forward and backward hinge. Well, it's not a hinge, but it hinges. And then you've got toe articulation. So this guy is very, very well articulated. I truly don't have any real issues with him as far as posing him or moving him around, outside of the fact that you do have to kind of watch out for the shoulder and waist pads, just because they are movable, so they might pop out, but otherwise just pop them back in. And once he's posed, they are going to stay there. And he is really, really well designed to be able to hit a lot of those signature Ginyu poses. I'm not sure I was concerned about it, but it was something to consider when moving this guy around, is can he hit all of those weird poses? And it's very nice to be able to say that, yes, he can. Now, as far as the aesthetics go, this guy pretty much covers all the bases when it comes to pulling off the Ginyu look. There is one thing on this guy that I kind of wish we had, and just to get it out of the way, it's shading. I wish that there was some shading in the musculature, and I wish that there was shading on the veins on his head, because he doesn't really have any shading at all. So this guy is, one of the ones, they either have some or they usually have none, and this is one that doesn't have any. So he doesn't have much to bring out the musculature. Generally speaking, it's fine because the way the light hits him, he kind of accents himself. But the veins at the top, I kind of wish there was just a little bit of something, maybe some dark purple, just to bring him out a little bit more. But otherwise, I think he looks really fantastic. I am very much a sucker for anything that comes in Saiyan armor. So of course he has Saiyan-style armor here, Frieza, Goon-style armor. And I really, really like the way this looks. Again, you do have the hinging pads, which are helpful when it comes to mobility. They do present maybe a little bit of an issue when you're posing them around, but I like the fact that they can move and that they're not static. You do have the Ginyu logo there on his chest, and as far as paint goes, there's not tons, but what is there is really cleanly applied. The logo is really well done. The blacks and the whites on the wrist guards and the boot cuffs are really clean and crisp, as is the piping all over the actual armor itself. The back is pretty much what you think it's going to be, black with some brown, but he looks great, and he has a lot of size to him as well. He's a very large figure, and we'll do some size comparisons to small and large DBZ Figuarts, as well as a few other lines here in a minute. But this guy very much has a lot of shelf presence, and a lot of it comes down to just the fact that he pops in comparison to, I don't know, every other figure, because he's purple. So he does stand out amongst the crowd. He's certainly a more unique style of Figuarts, but I think they really nailed the overall look, the proportions, the sizing of this guy. Again, he's an exciting figure to get just because he's a little bit different from the norm, but then of course they pulled it off really, really well. I'm very happy with just about everything that's going on here, outside of the fact that I kind of wish there was just a little bit of shading. And then to kind of cap it all off, you have what I think is a pretty stellar head sculpt. He has a very unique style of head to begin with. You've got a removable scouter over here as well. So this is something that we see with some Figuarts. So you pop that off, and he's got a little peg on his left ear, your right, to allow that to pop on. I kind of wish it was attached, just because I worry that I'm always going to lose these things, but at the same time, I'm sure that presents some cost issues. But he does look really good. Eyes, mouth are really clean and crisp. The horns are super, super saturated and really shiny in comparison to the kind of matte colors for the purple skin. So I think the head looks fantastic. Again, I would have liked a little bit more shading, but otherwise I think he looks great. The scouter does look really nice as well, as far as that little translucent visor, and then what little paint apps it does have are really clean and crisp as well, just to kind of round out a really nice looking figure. Now, as far as accessories goes, Ginyu is pretty well stacked, very par for the course when it comes to DBZ Figuarts. He is missing an energy effect, which I always feel like I'm missing when they don't include one, but at the same time, he has a pretty solid spread. So to start with, we have got an extra chest plate here. So we've got the battle damaged version. This has the broken armor piece with kind of the singed underbelly to it there. So you've got kind of a broken, shattered chest piece with a kind of a burnt, sinewy piece underneath it. It just pops off and you put it back on. So of course, here's the regular one. There's just 4 pegs that pop into the chest. Nothing too crazy, very simple to swap. You've got 4 extra sets of hands. So we've got fists on him in the box. You've got a set of open palm gripping style hands. We've got a set of kind of angled up flat palm hands. So these are kind of like a style pose hand or a blast hand if he had a blast. You've got a set of finger pointing hands here. And then we've got a set of open palm hands here. So these aren't as gripping as the other ones. These are very much kind of like grappling style hands or blast effect hands as well. Again, for a blast effect he doesn't come with. And then we've got 3 extra heads. So we've got the screaming head where he's kind of looking down. This one has a peg for the scouter, and you do need to use it because of the fact that it has the peg. We've got a head with the screaming effect. So we've got him kind of looking forward, slightly up with his mouth screaming. And then we've got the head where he's this is kind of the one that goes with the battle damage. So he's kind of hurt. He's very angry. No scouter piece on this one. So you don't use the scouter on this head, but you do use the scouter on the others. And then lastly, we get our first, this is our first Namekian Dragonball. So we get the 4-star ball. And of course, this one is quite large in comparison to all the other balls. So this kind of takes the place of an energy effect, I imagine. I do really like it. I'm glad he comes with this. I just like the idea of being able to get all of the Namekian Dragon Balls in addition to the regular ones. So he comes with a total of 10 hands. You've got a total of 4 heads. You've got the battle damage chest piece, and you've got the 4-star Namekian Dragon Ball. So while he doesn't come with an energy effect, he does come pretty well stocked overall. And then as far as some size comparisons go, here he is with a couple other Figuarts DBZ characters. So we've got the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku, which is probably the best thing to compare him to because we don't have other Ginyu Force members yet, nor do we have Form 1 Frieza yet. And then here he is with another slightly larger scale Figuarts, Android 16. So you can see that he has at least more than a head on Goku, a lot more girth, a lot more bulk. So when you pit these two together, Goku's going to look like he's at a size disadvantage. And then Android 16 shows you that he is a pretty tall figure and still a lot beefier than this guy. Now for some non-DBZ stuff, here he is with Super 7 Andre the Giant, just because he's still very fresh in my mind right now, and you can see that he kind of towers over Ginyu. Here he is with the Black Series Mando, because I always use him these days, and you can see that he looks very large next to a standard Black Series figure. Here he is with a Marvel Legends, so the Fox Wolverine. And then here he is with, let's do a NECA figure. So a NECA Rocksteady. So another large figure that Ginyu still has a lot of size on. So this guy is really big, especially for the Figuarts line. He's a lot of plastic, a lot of height, a lot of bulk. So there is a really, really large, very, very, I guess, shelf presence heavy figure here. He's going to look really nice alongside what is arguably a pretty small scaled line to begin with. So overall, this is a really, really solid release. Again, it's one that I was really looking forward to. I've very much wanted this character and the entire Ginyu Force in this line for a very, very long time. And I think Bandai did a really solid job. I think they executed on this figure quite nicely. He very much looks like he jumped right out of the show. I do only have a couple qualms with this guy. I wish he had a blast effect, and I wish he had some shading on him. The only other real issue is that, you know, the plates popping out when you move him are kind of annoying, but they aren't truly a problem. I'd rather them move and pop out than not move at all and impede articulation. So I think we got the better side of that. Otherwise, this is a really solid release, and frankly something that I think you absolutely need in a Dragon Ball Z Figuarts collection. I mean, this guy is very much a centerpiece and a focal point because he is so different and large and just a very unique looking figure. So that's going to do it for this look at the Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts Captain Ginyu. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.